You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 11th meeting for the Michigan City budget hearings. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, everyone. This is our first workshop from my office in rolling out the budget. And I'll say that it's pretty flat. So I don't have it's not a whole lot, but I still want to educate the public, kind of talk about Senate Bill 1 and some different things as well, and kind of highlight some of the different things that have happened. So for the agenda and council members, this is all in your book. We're going to talk about the goals of the administration, our budget preparation, a little bit about Senate Enrolled Act 1 and how that will impact us. Then I'm going to show you the comparison for 2025 and 2026, and then discuss our cash balances, and then what we need to do, for the future state of the city. And this is all in your workbooks. So again, just like last year, we talked about stabilization of our revenue sources. We know that the House Enrolled Act 1448, that was the riverboat money. We'll begin. We know that we're owed $8.2 million. We won't start receiving those payments until August of next year. We were proactively going after that money to secure it, but that is not reflected in here until we start getting that money, making sure nothing else happens. That money is not reflected in your budget, because it's not supposed to start, we're not supposed to start receiving anything until August of next year. So I do want to highlight that. We still are using Baker Tilly to provide us oversight on our funds. Like, we sent over what we believe the budget number should be for revenue. They came back with some changes to help us. So we've been working with them diligently on that. But one of the things that, again, we're going to still talk about long-term forecasting, but also, and I think I have it on the slide later, we want them to do an evaluation of our LIT, because we're going to talk a little bit about the LIT. And then again, to continue to build our budget based on historical data and trends. For this budget preparation, I met with all the city departments over the last year, monthly, the last Friday at 2:00, the departments owe me a report every month. They provide me a report of what they've done, where they're at. I look at their budgets. I call them if something don't look right. But I think that's the right thing to do. That's what the department heads are becoming used to, and that's the expectation. And again, I pull the data. When they come to my office, I'll pull it up, print it for them. Like, what are you asking for and why? Why are your numbers looking like this? But that's what we're supposed to be doing. And then, again, Baker Tilly is involved in it. A couple of the highlights that we've included in this, we've included a 2% raise for employees. The riverboat transfer to the general fund will be $4.3 million. Last year, it was 3.7. So the riverboat is really taking up the slack for the 2%, but we do know that we have future money coming from the House Enrolled Act that passed. But for this, last year we used the rainy day fund and gave just a bonus to everybody. But this year, 2% raise for all of the employees. A lot of the municipalities aren't going raises this year at all. They're going to the bonus structure this year. This year, you'll see in the salary ordinance, there will be a range now for all employees. What has happened typically, we put out the salary order, somebody comes off the street with no experience, they get the same pay as somebody who's been there 10 to 20 years. So you will see in your budget now that there is a range for all employees to make sure that as employees with longevity leave, we get brand new people that need to be trained. They should not expect the maximum pay when they come in unless we get somebody who's highly qualified. We transitioned some full-time positions to part-time. You'll see the reason for some of that on the next slide. But benefits, I don't know if y'all realize how expensive benefits are. I will say that one thing that we're trialing that I think is helping, we've gone to part-time loaders with the refuse department. We're transitioning a couple of other positions when people leave to part-time. And that gives us an opportunity to not only try people out. People who want to be full-time, they got to do a good job part-time first before they get an opportunity to be full-time. At least they can prove themselves. We did go through a process in looking at parity for positions throughout the city. We have now across all departments, if you have a CDL, they're all going to be in the same range, regardless of what department. Because what happens, and even with seasonal, you have all these different salaries. They're going to jump to what's the highest and to start jumping from place to place. So we wanted to make sure there was parity across the whole entire footprint on those positions. So you'll see that all the CDL operators, they're all going to be in the same range. All seasonal positions now across all of the departments have the same range. Same range. I wanted to highlight golf maintenance, our greens. So their pay changed because they received 2 specialized certifications. We typically pay $40,000 for a company to do some work for us. Our assistant greens and our green superintendent and our assistant green superintendent both got the certification, so their pay is different. We made sure that we included that certification, and so you're going to see a change that's higher on purpose, but it's saving us about $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year. Animal control, I went and looked at theirs. They're still in negotiations, but you'll see that that's higher than the 2% as well. The reason being, I found the state average. State average is $21.92. They were like $18. So you'll see something different for that. But I wanted to highlight that for you so that, oh, you're hiding something. No, I'm telling y'all what I'm doing and the reason why we're doing it, right? Our event director, Terry, each year over year, is bringing more and more to the city. He's raising his own money for his budget. But his salary doesn't even equal our assistant park superintendent. So I made them equal. So I just want you all to know that. Capital spending, again, we're doing the same thing we did last year. We're utilizing, the budgets, the lit and all of that. We're trying to not use riverboat for capital. There are some trucks and a plow and some mowers that are included in the budget, but not using riverboat funds. Recap of last year. So this year is our baseline, 2025. I cut too deep in some areas, but that's okay. We're holding right now on our budget. We reduced a lot of categories last year. Some maybe too much, but that's okay, because the thing that we need to know for this year is what is our baseline for our budget. And I think because we made those significant cuts last year, for this year, puts us in a good space, that we're not overwhelmed. It's not overwhelming. Because I was like, man, this is going to be an easier workshop today. Riverboat revenues are down. It's just what it is. We know it. Our permit and inspection revenue is up, though. And let me just give you some numbers real quick, because I think it's important. We're still going through a growing pain in the planning department, and we're working through some opportunities. And I know that cloud permit was here on site yesterday, and working out some more bugs. But I will tell you that it's getting better. So just on Tuesday, I got the numbers. That didn't include January and February. So since March, we've had $622,421 in permit fees come in since March, since we implemented Cloud Permit. And I'm gonna tell you, keeping up with the permits that are coming in is crazy. I don't know how they did it on paper. I really don't. I don't know how we did it on paper, but the planning department is, and you'll see in your budget, is now been split. It's a planning department and building department. We've split it. And I will tell you that it's ever evolving with the department and what we're trying to do. Because the goal is to get the permits out faster and more efficiently, in a manner that is acceptable not only to residents but to contractors. But also these large projects, you'll hear about it. These large projects, we're going to have to bring somebody in to help us. Our local folks need to work on the small business, small commercial, etc. These big projects, that's not in their bailiwick. So we're not going to continue to do that. We're going to figure out a way, and we're looking for some options right now. Healthcare costs. Last year we increased it from $19,000 to $21,000 per employee. This year we had increased it to $23,000 per employee. It's just a fact. We had a $400,000 increase in our total share. I will tell you, last year we spent $8.7 million on insurance and claims. This year, year to date, we're on track to possibly hit $9.5 million or more in claims and insurance. So we have been meeting on a regular basis with our broker, looking for ways to save, looking for opportunities, trying to get employees to use our health clinic, use North Shore, because it has gotten to the point of no return, and it's continuing to grow. So just to talk about Senate Enrolled Act 1 briefly, I want to do that before we get to the book. There's some classifications. I know this is going to be quite a little bit of an education, but there's some things that are happening to property taxes and then income tax. So basically, we're basically getting rid of property taxes to an extent, and our money's going to be based on local income tax, right? That means income that people are actually making money. Income, local income tax, right? And just know that the LITs that we get now are going away 2028. So public safety lit that we did all those raises for are going to be gone, right? And then CEDIT, CAGIT, all those LITs, they're all leaving. And what they have decided is that each municipality will have to pass their own local income tax. And what they've provided to us does not even equal what we get today. And by the way, I feel like they're trying to, I don't know if they're playing a horrible trick on us, but the LITs have been going up each year, giving us more money to only take it away eventually, right? So that structure is going to be interesting. So I want to share with you 1% homestead property deductions and credits. So as you can see, 2026 through 2031, we get these deductions, standard deductions, and all the supplemental homestead, all these different things, basically take away from our revenues, right? So you can tell that, again, we're not talking like a whole lot of money either. We're talking probably about $250 that are saved in your property taxes. But we're going to double how much you got to spend in income tax. So again, property taxes, resident, local income tax is a thing. So that's 1%. I want to stay with me for a second. 2%. Prior to this year, they got zero deductions. We got all our tax money. These are people who have rental properties, Airbnbs. These are people who have second homes. They never got a deduction, right? Now look, they go from 0 to 33.5, almost a half percent that they're gonna get. Now these are people, a lot of these people are making money, and now they're gonna get a break on top of the money that they're making. Now, this was passed into law. I'm gonna say that the mayors are banding together to fight this and try to get this resolved next year. But that's our rental and our third-party rentals, right? But that's not the kicker.
What percentage is rental for the city?
Here we go. So, this is an eye chart. Scott, I'll make sure you guys get a copy. Well, this is an eye chart, but I'm gonna spend a little time on this because this is important. Because I want to compare us to the city of LaPorte on our composition. So the Michigan City composition of our net assessed value. I just shared 1% and 2%. 1% are homeowners. We're only at 22% of our whole net assessed value are from homeowners. 22%. LaPorte, 32%, right? You get to 2%, where we're gonna lose our biggest chunk of money, we're at 40% net assessed value. That we just lose that money. LaPorte is at 28%. That's important. That's important. Because there's nothing we can do about that. We need more home ownership. You need more homeowners, less renters, second homes, whatever. But all those impact us negatively, right? So I think that's important for everybody to understand that. Because when it comes down to it, we went to a meeting over at the Civic, and they invited all county municipalities, entities, and government. And it broke down the lit type and what the change will be in our revenue. LaPorte County gained $16.8 million because of the net assessed value high. City of LaPorte in 2028, $746,000, they gained. But look how much we lose. 3.7 because of our portfolio. Our portfolio. Yes.
What do you mean, our portfolio?
I mean this.
Are you talking about the houses and the
Yeah.
rents?
Yeah. This and this. Is lost. So we have to be preparing ourselves in these budgets moving forward to deal with that, right? We need more housing. People don't like change, and we need people making more money. It's the bottom line, because the model is we're gonna make our money off of income tax, not off of property tax. So if people aren't making more money working and living here, that's why the Carmels of the world and the different places, they have high income. We have to make sure people are working. That's why, we're doing the Indiana plan and entrepreneurship and all these different things, because we need people making money. Because property taxes ain't it, right? So as I said, lit is going away. So all of that fanfare we had around public safety lit, and people mad at us and for passing it, and we were able to give police and fire these nice raises and to put some bonuses out there to entice people to come to Michigan City. 2028, all gone. All gone. Lits are gone. So now, that sets up me talking about the budget, so that you kind of have the backdrop of what that means. Our 2026 budget amount is $134,613. All right. When you open your books, I'm gonna I put just a copy of a page so I can remind y'all what y'all looking at. So when you look at your accounts, again, it's your, revenue, you have expense, but then we got the 2026, the budget that I'm presenting. This is what the departments had in theirs. There's the 2025 amended budget, 24 amended budget, and 2023, so you can see the comparison from each year. So you guys will be able to look at every line and go back a couple of years and see what we had in every category. And that's just for your own preview. So comparisons for 25 and 26. I can't even read that myself. Let me get my sheet out. So last year I shared this chart, but I added a few more things in it. Again, we wanted to make sure we had some realistic projections. Last year, going into some of the cash balances, you look at 2025, the bottom line, we went in, we're about a negative $483,341 this year. A little bit better, $209,000. But what I wanted to make sure of is that you could see the general fund, not much of an increase, but still an increase from 25 to 26. You see the expenses that we budgeted out of each one. The riverboat fund, again, you see our revenue and our expenses that we've budgeted, and it just breaks it down. You'll see some in red. Those are the ones that we're going into the cash balance. Like for instance, you see MBH restricted. We got $1 million in there. That's our CCMG. And then, again, in this budget, we haven't put the wheel tax in there yet. We're eating into our cash balance right now on roads, but we know that's coming. We need to build that up we don't know what's going to happen in 2028, but we need to be prepared because we do, and I've talked to our city engineer, outside of CCMG, we want to have some smaller contracts for neighborhood streets that are outside of CCMG. CCMG is going to be for some of the larger streets that we got to get done, but we still need to do some of those pocket streets. Sanitation, refuse. We're going into the cash balance again this year for a CNG truck. So the revenues weren't enough to do that. The match is higher. Actually, the grant that we got for the refuse trucks was from 2022, but I signed the contract in 23, and all the prices went up. So we bought the 3 trucks that are we waiting on delivery still?
Yep.
Still waiting on delivery. So we bought the 3 trucks this year, and when the total amount came in for the match, it wasn't what I signed for was about 1.3. We're getting about 1. So we've eaten up most of the grant money. We only got like $100-something thousand left in the grant. The truck is like $400-something thousand. $496,000 is the truck. So we had to go into their cash balance to pay for that, or at least for the match. A little bit into the public safety lit, that was police, and then all the other funds. So again, remember, all our lit funds are going to go away here at some point in time, and we got to figure out how to make that up. So I had this slide last year, and I wanted to continue to share it because I talk about our negative fund balances, just so that you can see where we're going into the cash balances and what we estimate the cash balance to be at the end, so that you have that. This year, what's different, opioid restricted and unrestricted. The unrestricted, we paid for part of the grant for the social worker. We get some of that money back, though, from a grant. But the restricted money is for the opioid grant program and the match. I knew I was going to find a typo. Promise scholarship. Anyway, the Promise Scholarship, let me report on the Promise Scholarship. We got 63 students this year.
Oh. Great.
63 students.
That's great.
Oh, it's great. Now I'm worried. So no, we have the money.
It's great.
But yes, we have 63 students this year. We got, I think, 33 new freshmen
Great.
and 30 returning.
Cool.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But good. I think that's a great thing. So, Promise Scholarship, we always show this way because how we have to appropriate and all that. So, park concession, these are just operating, DEA forfeiture. We took money to support the police department, some of their stuff, and left some cash balance in there. But just so that you all can understand, you know, we do go into cash balances to help, but to balance the budget, right? The goal is not to do that as much because at some point we're going to have to. There are some recommended guidelines on how much we should have in our cash balances that Baker Tilly will be helping us with, right? So we just want to make sure, but just want to share that. These are some of the higher departments, so I want to continue to share that as well. What the budget is, the overall budget is for police, again, is the highest, and then the fire department, and then you see everything else. So, pretty stagnant for most of them, again, but we're looking for ways to become more efficient, but also utilizing part-time versus full-time in some of the departments. So you will see that. But nothing staggering. Lastly, I'm telling you, it's gonna be quick. Before I take questions, you know, we're gonna continue to work to make sure we understand the impact of all of the legislation that has happened. You know, with the revenue replacement piece, first thing was the wheel tax. You know, we just passed it. We're at 7 cents per day per car, $25 a year. But maybe there's some other things. And, you know, I had this discussion with a group of county people. We talked about, are there some other ways to raise revenue, whether innkeeper's tax, food and beverage tax, what better way to raise money to support, you know, our parks and different things than let our tourists pay for it, right? We're the tourist hub for LaPorte County, and those are going to be opportunities for us to raise funds and revenue while tourists come and hang out and eat and stay in the hotels and all of that. That's a better way for us to handle that. We talk about a comprehensive financial plan. That's where, if we can do it this year, or at least pay for it, see where we are at with the budget in October, I think it'll be necessary for us to do that study on the lit and what the impact would be. But again, they're helping us create a policy on our debt reserve. And then we're just going to continue to look for reductions in how we restructure. Like I said, there are some revenue generating things that with the permits that I think are big. But the other part that we haven't talked about, we did not identify all the fees when we did the fee increase. There were so many things. I'll give you one example. Our annual fire inspection fee, right? Where we go in for $50. It's the same for Solaire as it is for daycare. Does that seem fair? Probably not. But think about how much time we spend at those places going back and forth. Think of all the back and forth and the inspections and all of that. There's some places where we have blind spots that we've never thought about before. So yes, we passed a fee increase, but we missed quite a few. We did. There's some reviews that take a lot of time of the engineering department and the planning department. We don't charge anything for it. We looked it up and all the other cities charge for it, right? So I think there's some opportunities for us to still identify some revenue sources But I think we're learning and we're growing all at the same time. So we'll continue to do that. So your books are what they are. Like I said, I think we went on and scheduled several dates. I think you had dates scheduled, and I had another one on the calendar just in case, so that you can spend some time with your workbooks and understanding what's in there. Again, this one, because we did so much last year, that's why I highlighted the things that I thought you would have questions on. Yes,
You want
ma'am.
me to open those?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so as of right now, we're in the mayor's budget presentation, which is September 11th today. Our first reading, the mayor's virtual handouts for the public will be September 16th, 5:30 in the EOC room. The council public workshop.
Wait, what is,
5:30?
what's it, 16?
Oh, I'm sorry, September 16th, our first reading. That's council.
Okay.
My apologies. The council public workshop for department heads, September 24th. Should we need to carry that over, then we have a tentative date for September 25th. That would be at 5:30 in the EOC room. Our budget workshop follow-up is scheduled for September 30th,
And I scheduled that one.
scheduled by the mayor at 5:30 in the EOC room. September 30th. 5:30 in the EOC room. That is the budget workshop follow-up.
Yeah, and I scheduled that one in advance, just in case y'all have more questions. So that we can follow up and clear anything up if y'all had some questions or something. So,
And then we have the second reading and public hearing on October 7th. Third reading, if necessary, will be scheduled for October 21st.
all right, thank you. Thank you for that.
21st, yes.
So I will open up to the council members for questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mayor, on the public lit tax, when is that gonna go away?
2028.
2028, that'll be gone? Okay,
And it's about $14 million right now.
okay, well, I'm looking right here. It's like, I don't know, I got, for 2026, it's 5 million.
Public, all of them. But all of them are.
There's,
all of them.
there's 3 lits. There's 3 lits total.
Okay, well, this one here says 2040, public safety lit.
Right, what about it?
Yeah, so where are the other two then? You said
They're in your
there's three?
book. Yeah, there's 3 different funds.
Which one?
He's looking at his budget book. What's the fund
I'm
number?
looking at comparison of 2025,
Yeah, he's in that
2026,
PowerPoint.
right here.
Oh,
I think we only have public safety lit and seated in there, 2209.
The other one goes to the general.
The other one goes to the general fund.
so are you looking at this?
He has a comparison. No, he's looking at your PowerPoint.
Oh, let me go back to the comparison. I'm sorry. All right.
Comparison of 2025 and 2026.
Yes.
Budgets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, so the lid's going away, and this is all of them then?
All of
All 3 of them totaled up?
No.
No, there's
This is, I only listed a couple. I just listed the big ones they had.
Right, there's 2 on this page.
Yeah, I put 2 on here. I can't put every fund on here. You know, you have like 50 funds in here.
But on that page, yeah,
I'll
there's
put
2
two.
lits that are identified, and both of those will go away along with the third one.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
And the
Okay,
third
so, all
one,
right, so what my question is, if it's all going away, right, all 3 of these funds are going away in 2028,
Mhm.
then what is the total of all 3 of those funds, and what, you know,
14.
and I know we gotta start making preparations for that now, because you're gonna, I don't know how much the total is, but right in this one here, this line 2240, that's $5 million right there.
yeah.
That's gonna be
Yeah,
cut-
one of them is 4 million, another is 5
That's gonna be
million,
cut out of the
another is 4
budget.
million.
So what are the other
14 million
two?
there.
Is it gonna be like 13 million?
No, 14.
Like close to
It'll be 14 million.
It's about 14 million. So let me, I didn't put this in there, but I had sent y'all something earlier in the year when we were going through the legislative process downstate. So our lit percentage right now with all of the lits that we got coming in is about 3.7. 3.7 is our like rate. The maximum that we can actually even get starting in 2028 with the new local income tax that the council has to pass, the max we can get is 2.9. So we just lose right off the top. That's why you see that money just jumped 3.7. It's lost.
Right,
So it's lost.
understood.
Yep.
Okay.
What other questions? Questions? Any other questions?
One more question.
Yes.
As for the park department. So when it comes to the parking and the money that we collect on parking, where does that go into the budget? Does that goes all to the park department?
Yes. It's
Yes.
all in the park operating fund.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep, it does. And let me say this about the park department too, because I don't think the public understands, especially people who don't live in Michigan City that want a free parking sticker. So our park operations is a whole beast of its own. People don't realize we have park operations, park maintenance, a zoo, a golf course. Two golf courses, the beach. But how many parks and how many acres do we have approximately?
We have 30 properties, over 600 acres, the sports complex, the beach.
30 properties,
We got 95 buildings.
95 buildings, rentals, all of that. So I didn't even put in here who's getting how much in riverboat transfers.
It's still,
But the street department is getting $1.6 million, 1.6 million in a river, that's part of the riverboat transfer. But then you have the park department, that's another large one, right? I don't know why I know these on the top of my head, but
$500,000.
$500,000
For the riverboat to balance their budget.
just to balance their budget. So that's why I think.
Who's that going to?
Park.
And if you look at the bottom line, yes, just to we want to balance the budget, revenues need to be above expenses. So at all of your funds, if you look at the grand total, if you look at the park department, the grand total, which happens to be on page 76, you will see that there's only $9,000 of revenues over expenses, and that includes a $500,000 transfer from the riverboat and all the parking and the property taxes. Property taxes does not pay for their entire operations in the park.
Right. So I think people think that it's covered, and it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was a good example. Good example. All right. Council members. Any other council member with a question? Yes.
All right, last one, and this is, because I hear, I'm gonna use vector control for an example.
Okay.
You know, they're out cutting the grasses and cutting the weeds in the lawn, you know, on different properties. And the complaints I hear is that they are doing all this work, but are we actually recouping the money for doing the work? You know, and I've heard, you know, there's like maybe 100,000 or $150,000 worth of money laying out there that hasn't been collected yet. So
That's
I don't
correct.
know, I don't know if the city knows exactly where we stand on
I
that
do.
type of funding.
I do.
Yeah.
So let me kind of explain a couple of things. So, because there's a lien process, there's a citation process, and they go to court every week. That takes time. One of the things that we're looking at doing, and this will come to you probably next year, as we work through it. I had wrote for a, I don't know what you want to call it. I was competing with some other mayors on, some innovative way to do some things. Long story short, the goal is to be able to identify properties that have liens on them, where there's citations in real time. Because one of the things that we notice that people are repeat offenders, but we don't have a great database to see that in real time. If someone comes in for a permit and they have all these citations or liens, should we be giving them a permit? Should we continue to let them do work? Should we continue to let them do? That's gonna be something that we're all gonna have to have a discussion about. But again, because everything was done on paper previously, it was harder to identify those things. So yeah, they go through the process, they're in court all week, every week. But a lien, until they try to sell the property or have to pay taxes or something, that's the only time we recoup the money in some cases. Now, I will say we have some people that come in real time and pay because they got something they need, and they'll come in and pay and not be hindered. But I think that's a process, and you have to follow the legal.
Right,
So
right.
I think there is money. I think we can shorten how long it takes.
Right.
But there's got to be a caveat or a carrot that says, if you don't pay, we're not going to allow you to do these things. You know, but that's gonna be an ordinance or something. And we gotta go through the legal process to make sure that's even feasible. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that can be done. Just giving you an example of what we would like to see.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because, I hear the complaint time after time after time, and I know the guys are trying to do a great, good job out there cleaning things up, but, yeah, I don't know in the long run if the city's getting the benefit out of it. All we're doing is supplying free labor for landlords and what have you. Sure, you wanna cut my grass? Go ahead, cut it, but then
Yes.
try getting the money from me,
Right.
yeah. And I've been hearing that for years, not
Yeah,
just.
yeah, I agree with you.
But for years, that's gonna
I
happen,
agree with you.
yeah.
Well, I want to know if we can trust what's on Beacon, because I've had the same complaints. I've gone on Beacon and I've told people who's complaining to me, well, the property is owned by so-and-so. Well, that guy died 5 years ago and his wife moved out of town. Well, who owns the property then? Who's responsible for that?
Yeah, I'll ask Amber
I
too.
don't know if I can trust what's on.
Well, I will say
Am I the
too,
only one who's had that problem?
so GIS, LaPorte County for a period of time didn't have a GIS coordinator. They have one now because we were experiencing some issues with accurate information because they're behind for a period of time. Now they have someone because we decided to go directly to Beacon to get some of our information because we couldn't get the records, the GIS files in a timely manner. So hopefully that's being worked out. I know that they hired someone and, all of that. And we've been building our own GIS layers up with information as well. So hopefully that will be a thing. All right, any more council members before? All right, I wasn't gonna let public, but I see Tommy has his hand up.
Yeah, Mayor Falls always used to say, if you step on my toes, I gotta scream. Want to get back to the Michigan City Promise Scholarship. If you have a student that graduated from Michigan City High School or Marquette Catholic High School as a member of the National Honor Society, regardless of their residency status or their economic status, they should be eligible to apply for and receive the Michigan City Promise Scholarship.
Well, I understand what you're saying. That's not what the ordinance says. So the ordinance was expanded. The ordinance was expanded once where we started including Marquette students and rental. So you can live in a rental. I'm not going to debate. And if you live in a rental property or an apartment, you're eligible. Like I said, we have 63 students. 63 students this year. This fall on the Promise Scholarship. I haven't seen that many. I don't know.
Be the most.
I think, I don't even know if it's the most, but it's close. So we got 63 students who are getting the Promise Scholarship that got money this fall. So, yes, sir.
I got one other proposal for you.
Budget question.
Make no mistake about it, over the last 20 years or so, we lost a great deal of our employer base. When I hired in Anco in 1990, we were 1,200 employees strong. We're the largest contributor to the United Way of Laporte County. What we had before Federal Mobile took over was if we.
You got a budget
would donate 1 hour stay a month to the United Way of Laporte County, we would receive an extra paid vacation day used throughout the year. And I'd like to see that offered to all the municipal employees.
Well, okay, thank you for that. But I don't know where I'm gonna find that money from right now, but that'd be great. You get a birthday holiday.
Yeah, they all get a birthday. You got that in for the fire and the police and the transit. Thank you for doing that last year. I got
I'm
another.
got Shannon and then Scott.
When are we getting our tax money back from the city of Gary?
Oh, I covered that. I covered that. So I'll go back.
Beginning in August.
Starting in August, we'll get monthly payments.
That's the goal, 5 years.
I know. So we're owed, $259,754. We don't start getting any payments until August of next year.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's money that's, okay.
And it's gonna be over, not even 4.5 years, something like that.
166.
And then secondly, I just have a comment, just so the council knows, our insurance deductible right now for incident went from $5,000 to $25,000.
That's correct.
So we just had a fence destroyed on Singing Sands. The bill's $86,000. We had to come up with $25,000 out of our budget, that's huge.
Yep.
And as diverse as our department is, we have insurance claims every year. So just keep that in mind, that is a very large deductible for a department like us, depending on how many incidents we have this year.
Yes, Scott?
I got 3 quick things. I was at the park meeting where the deductible came up on expense, and $25,000 deductible made sense when like 28 roofs got destroyed. But we found now with this that maybe 25,000 is too high deductible for the park district, because coming up with 25 grand for things is really hard to get for any budgets. I'm a little confused about the public lit going away, but before that, I would like to say I think it's a fantastic change you're making with the special events coordinator. He wasn't here when you went over it. But I talked to Terry when he was setting up for Oktoberfest. And he wasn't bragging or anything like that. But he indicated that he was putting in about 120 hour weeks during the Grand Prix and Oktoberfest. And you can't, and he's salaried, you can't pay for that kind of dedication.
True.
And I thank you so much for what you do for our city. And I'm really happy that you addressed his salary on your budget.
You know what, I'm glad you brought that up. I missed, our park maintenance director. I will send that information to you. There was a change for Pat Volts too. How many extra hours? 800 and,
It equated his overtime last year to over $39,000 had he not been salaried. So yeah, it was $900 overtime. And that's an
so that is a change. I'll send that to y'all because I forgot to stick that in that list. So I will make sure I update it and send that to you in the PowerPoint when I send it to you. Because I knew it was, that triggered, I knew I missed something. Can you write that down as a note for me, Tamiko? Write that down as a note, park maintenance for the PowerPoint. I need to update it.
Okay.
Yes, Scott,
But
so,
I'm also confused about public lit. Lit is local income tax. You're saying we have these 3 lit funds that are going away, but then we have to impose a new municipal.
Yes.
So where are the LITs coming from now? Are they shared from the state somewhere?
yes. So there are 2 that state and then we passed the public safety levy.
Okay.
But we just started getting what, 4 years ago? something like that. And it's like $5 million, and we split it half to, police, half to fire, and we gave the raises and did all of that, and now all of those lits will go away, and the city, now it's gonna be the city's fault, because we gotta impose a local income tax. But the maximum with the local income tax and what the county has and what the city has together is, like I said, 2.9% is the maximum rate, when we're at about 3.7 with all of those collectively that we get together today. So you see, right off the top, we lose. So that's where we're at. Budget question, Tommy?
Yeah, I got another proposal to make. I know the lit's going away in 228, but I think we need to impose another tax to keep it going. But I would say that we had this at ANCO, when it came out of the profits from our vending machines. We get at Christmas time, we get like a $25 Meijer gift card. I like the proposal for the fire and the police department, including the fire chief and the 2 deputy fire chiefs and the police chief and the 2 deputy fire chiefs. That at Christmas time, they all receive a $100 L Supermarket gift card. They can either take the gift card and buy groceries for them and their family, or donate that gift card or the portion of the gift card to the Salvation Army.
All right, thank you. All right, yes, Mr. Ricci.
Travel back to what you just said about the lid. The combination is around 3.7, the max we can get is 2.9. 2.9, LaPorte County plus Michigan City?
Yeah, that's everything,
So we,
cumulative. Let me see, I think I broke it out.
we're not really gonna get a 2.9 anyway, because we have to share it with,
That's the max we can get. So, so the max that we get, no matter how that's the most that anybody can pay, any
Oh.
taxpayer.
total.
So again, we're moving away from property taxes to income tax. So if we need people working, we want to make sure people are working, that's why workforce and making sure that people are, on jobs and getting trained is important, because we get our money based on people working and making income.
But in real dollars, we're not gonna get 2.9%.
No, because one thing that they didn't show, or that they did, it puts a note in here that they subtract households that receive public assistance or any type of anything. And so we have a high population, as I stated. Yes. Our net assessed value at the 2% rate with rental properties and Airbnbs and everything else is 40% of all of our entire net assessed value. So that's what it is.
You mentioned earlier too that we may look at some kind of tax on tourists that are coming here, food, beverage, whatever. Isn't that what Sol is planning on doing at their facility?
That's like, it's a little different, it's an occupancy thing. That's an occupancy, it has nothing to do with food and beverage. That's only on,
They're gonna have
No.
additional,
there is an additional. It's called the EID, right? The EID is based on occupancy, not food and beverage. EID is for that specific location. Like you can go, like in some cities in their downtown areas, every hotel has that extra downtown income tax fee thingy. That's the same thing. It has nothing to do with food and beverage. Food and beverage is something that still has to go to downstate. So if we want to do a food and beverage, I would have to go lobby, try to partner with some other cities, maybe like LaPorte, kind of talk to Maritime about it. But we have to go downstate to even get something like that approved. And food and beverage tax has to be specific to tourism, parks and rec and all of that kind of stuff. So you tie it to a project. But again, all these things say tax. So now the cities have to impose taxes on everything to make up for the money that is just lost. And it's not even like and the money that we're losing, nobody's getting it. The state isn't getting it either. It's just poof. It's kind of just gone. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Well, thank you all again, and we got a couple of meetings set up, and after that, we'll see where we're at, but pretty flat, uneventful. I think we did enough cuts last year that kind of lessened the blow for this year, so I think I feel good about that, and we're on track for this year, so thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So, should we Monday?